Hello, Midnight TCG members. This is Midnight Fox coming to you with this week's Competitive Edge podcast. This week we're going to be discussing Beast Warriors. Usually these guys are a combination of exactly what their names say, beasts and warriors. The artwork generally depicts something along that. They haven't had a huge amount of following. They've mostly been support cards in the game. About the only two decks that I can think of that have played competitively, mainly just being Beast Warriors, would be in the past, would have been the Phantom Beasts when they were released, and then again that was kind of subpar. And soon to come is going to be the Fire Fist monsters with the new Fire Structure deck. But we've been working along the archetypes, so we can't leave any out. So tonight, we're going to go over Beast Warriors. So tonight's podcast is probably going to be pretty short and sweet. As I said, it's not highly supported as far as within its own archetype, but some of the monsters can be good staples. They can be broken if played properly. And some of them have some really cool artwork. So, with that said, we'll go right into staples. I'll start out with that. I'm going to say one that's been around for a long time. One of my staples I would list is Gladiator Beast Heraclinos. Everybody used to hate Glad Beasts. Right now, they may not be as playable as they once were. When Cold Wave went away, when Rescue Cat got banned, and other cards started getting limiting, they kind of killed it. But still, if you find a way to run Glad Beasts, which they are still runnable, they're just harder. That's what kills me about people, is when they say a deck's not runnable anymore. You just have to find a new way to run it. But off that rant and back on to Heraclinos, he's a 3,000 attacker, 2,800 defense monster. You don't need polymerization. He's a contact fusion. All you have to do is have Laquari and two other Glad Beast monsters. Any Glad Beast monsters. They're not specific. And you discard a card and negate the activation of a spell or trap card. That gives you field advantage over your opponent. And that's one of the things that made Glad Beast such a contender, was with Bestiari hitting the field, blowing up the backfield, when you had Gyzaris coming out and blowing up two cards. War Chariot would shut down different cards. And Heraclinos, when he came out, was just a big 3,000 beast where just pound through your opponent. No jokes there, Nomad. But definitely, I would say, among the top that I would think still staples. Glad Beasts, definitely not dead. And I'm sure, seeing the popularity that they had in the past, Glad Beasts will eventually get more support to them. Kind of going right past Glad Beasts into another deck that was high tier. It's kind of saw less play, but it is still playable. And our recorder Genzaki, who's sitting in the background listening, and Genzo, who's sitting in the background listening, because Genzo's mic's not working. Genzaki's throat, unfortunately, is not working for him. And I forgot to introduce, we also have Nomad on tonight. Say hello.
Hey guys, I have a voice. Part of it, anyway.
And Eddie Phoenix.
Hi, we're getting this late, but well.
Just a little late. Hey, we gotta have a little comedy
late.
factor in there. Probably be one of Genzaki's favorites too, as far as a staple. XX Saber Gotham's. He's a 3,100 attacker, 2,600 defense, and you tribute X Saber monsters to start depleting your opponent's hand. X Sabers are by far, they're not dead. High Unlay is still broken, and if you find the right combination for the X-Saber deck, it plays out very quickly. As a matter of fact, myself, I run a 6 Samurai deck that sides into Sabers, and it does it amazingly. And I think Genzaki's actually seen that deck in play. It's either him or Kyo. But Gotham's is definitely part of that mixture that goes in with there. And with Zen Mains and other cards right now, being able to control the field, the ability to deplete your opponent's hand with Gotham's, being a Beast Warrior, I would definitely say, if you're an X-Saber fan, he's a staple. But, as I said, mostly Beast Warriors are support, so Heraclinos to Glad Beasts, Gotham's to X-Sabers. And my last staple, and this guy is highly contended. Some people hate him, some people like him. I'm going to say Sirius, the Blue Dog Star. The thing I like about him is he's a 2400 attacker, 1500 defense, 6-star synchro. No conditions set on him. 1 tuner, 1 or more non-tuners. Easy to summon. He's got good stats. And when he's destroyed and sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to target a face-up monster your opponent has, and they lose 2400 attack. So if you've got your opponent down into their lower points and you've got a field stack, Sirius can be a game winner. He's not going to go on everybody's staple list, but I think he's a card that's definitely overlooked. I hear a lot of people say, well, I prefer to put Gaia Knight, or I prefer to put Gravity Warrior, but I can't hate on him, the Blue Dog. If nothing else, if I wouldn't put him in, he's a dark, and he's also got some really cool artwork. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to Eddie Phoenix.
Okie dokie. For my staples, I'm definitely running Shiba Warrior Taro. Him being able to not be destroyed by battle, and then once he's destroyed by battle or by a card effect, I'm able to return it to my hand. Being a 2-star tuner, it's a beneficial card to have. Reborn Tengu, being able to special summon another Reborn Tengu when that card's removed from the field, good thing to have. If you're a Chaos deck runner, or even a Lightsworn player, you're going to know that Wolf Lightsworn Beast is going to be one of the cards that's going to be a staple for your deck. So,
And Ed had some pretty good ones there. I mean, I had a guy at my locals who's a big fan of Shiba Warrior Taro. He just collects them. But Wolf, there again, there's another support card that goes into your Lightsworn decks. So yet again, it proves the point that mostly Beast Warriors are support. And Reborn Tengu. Reborn Tengu, the ability for easy XZ summons, synchro summons, tribute summons, and it's like a sing-and-like effect. All he has to do is leave the field. So definitely some good staples, Eddie.
mm-hmm.
And I think, anything else to cover on him?
The only other one I could cover on, if you're running an Assault deck, of course, run Assault Beast. But other than that, Nomad Europe.
I think Nomad said he was hurting, but
No.
I think he had one that he thought was really competitive at least. So, yes, let's hear Nomads.
Well, I mean, to continue on though from the Lightsworn thing, I think Arcus is also a Beast Warrior too.
Yes, he is.
If anybody cares, Arcus and yeah. As far as our staples, I think Horn of the Phantom Beast is what comes to mind for me. It's a trap card that you activate by targeting a face-up, a Beast Warrior or a Warrior, and I think it has to be in your control. But and it gains 800 attack, and you basically equip that trap card onto your monster, and then when your monster destroys an opponent's monster through battle and it puts it into the graveyard, you draw a card. So if you're attacking or being attacked, it'll often replace itself automatically and then remain on that monster for the future. And I think it's a really cool card. Because like a lot of the Beast Warriors that we have, okay, well maybe it's not going to be an entire deck based around Beast Warriors, but it'll work on Beast too. So even stuff like King Tiger Wangu is a food for it. And yeah, just overall, I think as far as looking at the staples, even outside of monsters, Horn of the Phantom Beast is definitely something I like. And Reborn Tengu too. It's kind of hard to walk away from him, right?
Even with him semi-limited, that's still two monsters that synergize in your deck.
Still good. And I mean, I don't know if any of you guys remember the Power Rangers movie, like the one where they fought Evan-Ooze, and there were these birds that were like their bad guy villains, and they were called Tengu Warriors or Tenga Warriors. And they also showed up in the series. But I can't remember if they were Tengu or Tenga in the series or movie. But yeah, that's always kind of what I associate those guys with.
My kids have made me watch that over and over again. Yes, they were Tengu Warriors. That's what he called them. So, and yes, Sirius was in one of the power. Yeah. Come on, Konami, get inventive. Quit stealing from the Power Rangers.
Honestly, I actually thought that Reborn Tengu was called a Tengu Warrior for like 3 or 4 months when it came out, and then one day I'm like, what's a Reborn Tengu? And everyone's like, are you stupid? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, I actually thought that there was a newer card that came out afterwards called Reborn Tengu. That was something different, and that was a low point of my life, I think. But yeah, I'm gonna pass the buck back to you guys.
All right, well,
I think.
So we go into favorites, and the Fox always seems to be stuck with 4 because there's always 2 I'm torn between. One of my favorites is definitely going to be from the Beast Warrior archetype, Pitch Black Werewolf. His ability to stop your opponent from activating trap cards can be a good helper. He's a dark, which means he's chaos food. His stats are a little low. I think that's where he lost his playability. But if you're just looking at something to lock down the trap zone, you put him and stuff like Wildheart, Genzo. You could completely take out the whole trap section of your opponent's side of the field if you built the right deck. So Pitch Black Werewolf, definitely, he's one of my favorites. He's got some pretty decent artwork. I like the artwork on Pitch Black Werewolf, but for me, it's more the ability to stop your opponent from activating trap cards, and that's not just for him. That's all your monsters, so they can just go beating on through. No Dimensional Prison, no Mirror Force, no Magic Cylinder, Eddie.
And my favorite card, yo!
Magic Cylinder for the win!
I'm giving people ideas, when they face you on Tuesday.
Shush! Don't give away one of my cards that's always almost in my deck. It's a good thing to have. Ask Jin, he'll tell you. Oh wait, he can't talk.
The text box of doom. Going on with that, definitely Enraged Battle Ox. His ability to make all your beasts and beast warriors and winged beasts piercers, awesome. He is an earth, so no, he's not going to be chaos food, but he does have 1700 attack. If you can keep him protected and you're running something that's based around those 3 types, and Harpy Black Wings could really, more Black Wings than Harpies, could really benefit from Enraged Battle Ox. Just the ability to pierce through. And I like him from the show, and he always looked kind of cool with the little flame stuff coming off of him. So, yeah. But playability, I'm going to go back old school on my last two. Back in the day, I used to love Mystical Knight of Jackal. Now, he is a 2 tribute monster, but he's got 2,700 attack, 1,200 defense, so yes, he's easily beaten down if your enemy controls him or Bookman's him. But when he destroys a monster on your opponent's side of the field and it goes to the graveyard, you can return it back to the top of your opponent's deck. This was before Ryza ever hit, so the ability to lock down your opponent's deck with a 2,700 beater was really good. Plus, Mystical Knight of Jackal looks like a really BA Anubis. If you don't know, the Fox is an old fan of Egyptian mythology, so yeah. Mystical Knight of Jackal was really cool to me back in the day. Don't play him so much now. He is harder to get out, but back in the day, he could be a good lock card. And last but not least on my list, favorites, is Manticore of Darkness. The ability in a Beast or Beast Warrior or Winged Beast deck to send one of those types from your hand, and you get to special summon him, and he's a 2,300 6-star. Manticore is a forgotten returner that I think if people looked at him again could make an impact in the game. Do I think right now people are hugely going to look at him? No, but I'm going to venture to say that when the fire deck hits and the Fire Fist monsters are looked at, because they are Beast Warriors, Manticore will definitely be a guy that fire players look back at and think, this guy could run good in my deck. But that kind of rounds out the Fox's phase, and with that, I'm going to pass it on to Eddie.
My favorites, I'm going with Gene Warped Werewolf. 4-star, 2,100 normal monster. Being able to drop a Rescue Rabbit and then pull 2 of those guys to your side of the field. Depending on what's on your opponent's side of the field, you're looking at a pain in the neck to get rid of. Especially if they want to decide to go layover and then drop level 4 Exceed. One of my personal favorites from the Seto Kaiba deck would be Vorse Raider. 1,900 attack, 1,200 defense, 4-star Dark Monster. Again, another target for Rescue Rabbit. For the lull factor, Garnecia Elephantis, because this is the card that Maximilian Pegasus used to beat Bandit Keith. My apologies for being slow. My brain's going to sleep on me.
It's almost done!
It's almost there! And of course, just to throw out 2 other ones I could use because of their power, Kuwakamiru Crusader and Kuwakamiru Earn Knight. So
Earn
with that,
Knight?
yes, Earn Knight.
Which one is he again?
He's the 4-star, 2,000 attack points, 1,500 defense.
Oh, right.
Once per turn, you can reveal 1 Iron Kwakamiru from your hand to special summon 1 level 4 or lower Kwakamiru from your deck except Earn Knight.
I always thought he was really cool, and he kind of gave me hope as far as running the archetype as a whole, opposed to just playing like Rockstone or splashing one of them. But I guess he never caught on.
Yet again, another deck support. I think the podcast has proven very well that Beast Warriors are good support cards.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man, you're up.
Yeah. As far as my favorites go, I think I'll begin here with I guess my fan wank answer, which is I'm the Hunter of Black Feathers. And honestly, I like this guy purely because of the artwork. Um, it looks kind of like an undead, like half bird, half like something. And I think it was even a short print in I want to say Shining Darkness, but I don't have the card in front of me, so I could be wrong here. And what you do is, if your opponent controls two or more of the same monsters, like of the same type, you can send one card from the hand to the graveyard and destroy one of those monsters. So I thought it was kind of a gimmicky card because the Black Wings were pretty popular when it was announced or came out, but it just wasn't really it never caught on. So I've always liked the artwork of that. And as far as playable cards or cards that I would like to run myself, the first one I think of is Grand Soil, the Earth Giant. Or I mean, I'm lying. It's like Grand Soil, the Elemental Lord, not the Earth Giant. That's a different card. And with this one, it's 2800 attack and 2200 defense. And you special summon that from your hand when you have exactly 5 Earth monsters in the graveyard. You can't have more, you can't have less. It has to be exactly 5 Earth. And when you special summon him, you can target a monster in either player's graveyard, and you special summon that monster. So it's a large monster that you'll special summon, and it also brings you another one. The downside, though, is that when it leaves the field, and it doesn't even specify how or why or when, you have to skip your next battle phase. Again, artwork on this card is incredible. You can look it up for yourself, but it's pretty much a giant metal, like, dude full of armor. And it's like a black armor with a gold and red trim on it. Which, like, I'm a sucker for black and gold stuff, and this guy is just, like, amazing card as far as artwork and in theory. But it's a card I've honestly never seen played, and I would like to give it a shot at some point. So I'm hoping it's only a few dollars to get. Have you guys ever played it or thought of playing it or run into it or have any kind of...
I've ran into it, and it's a pain to get off the field. But
I like how you can special...
Right now, I would say it's the time to get him before he keeps continuing to jump up, because as his playability becomes better, then his price is only going to go up. When people start realizing how effective some cards are, like just one that comes to mind that just released that nobody had really read up on, so I just did a review, One-Eyed Skill Gainer. 2500 attack, 2600 defense, and you drop a unit and you get to copy your opponent's Xyz monster. So if they got a Zen mains or something out, you copy their Zen mains, you got 2 units to drop. The only difference is your Zen mains is 2500 attack. And people, what's this One-Eyed Skill Gainer? And I think he's one that's going to go up in price. I think with Yu-Gi-Oh, we all know it's like a stock market. Invest before people realize how broken a card is.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I guess in the worst case, you'll break even to something that you get for $3-4, right? I mean, that's a pretty small investment, considering. And, like, I honestly don't see Grand Soil being that popular because, like, unless you find a deck that's, like, all Earth, that becomes, like, our Tier 1 thing, I don't see it happening, but... And again, you are getting a pretty strong attacking monster, and you are getting a free special summon. It just kind of strikes me as kind of like the Dark Creator, and how you have to have your 5 monsters, and how Creator never really caught on either. Like, I ran him for a while, but it was never really a dominating card. And even him, you didn't have to have exactly 5. You could have like 6 or 7 if you wanted.
Creator,
whereas,
it was mainly ran around the Creator Incarnate or...
No, I mean the Dark Creator, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Dark one. The one that came out in Phantom Darkness. Yeah. And we're Dark Armed.
Yeah.
Just kind of became one everyone ran to, and then Creator just kind of got forgotten about after a couple months.
There's some that have been forgotten, like Dark Lord Zerato.
I ran him for quite a long time actually, and kind of a sillier deck of mine. I still like it. I mean, you play Armageddon Knight, you get him in the graveyard, you play Call, you have a Regeki, and then it's still
He
still a
gets
cool
blown
card.
up, but 28.
Yeah, it's
Boom.
boom 28. Yeah, he's not a Beast Warrior though, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
It'd be cool if he was, but he wouldn't be a fairy, and he wouldn't be a dark fairy. But yeah, I am. After this recording, I think I'm gonna actually go and get out a few Grand Soil, and just, if nothing else, to find out if people in my area even know what that is.
He might be the surprise in your deck that nobody's expecting.
He might be, and really, even skipping your battle phase isn't that big a deal if you run stuff like stuff you'll set. Like, I could run Maneater Bug in that deck. And he leaves the field on my next turn, I set a monster instead of having the battle phase. It doesn't tell me I can't summon or I can't set. It just does that, right? And
Well, in the right base deck, I mean, losing a battle phase doesn't hurt. You could actually set up your field to be able to mass summon on the next turn. Let your opponent blow up your field hitting things like, although they're not played anymore, and they are a beast, hyenas. If you're an insect player, insect hopper, things that mass hit the field. And in today's
like even
with easy Xyz summons and synchro summons, being able to get cards out to the field is very beneficial.
well, I mean, like other than those, I mean, I could run the Gear Gaia stuff, but like other than that stuff, like what's really Earth almost all the way? I guess like X Sabers, right?
X Sabers. And a large majority of the Glad Beasts are Earth Warriors. Not all, but a large majority of them are.
Well, but I mean, like in Gladiator Beast, I wouldn't really have a lot of Earth monsters in the graveyard, though, right? Because like you have your Darius and you're returning stuff back to your deck in your field with Glad's a whole lot.
Yeah.
So it's more of like a deck that
is going to be X Sabers probably, as far as
yeah.
Earth based.
Because I mean, I could try and build something that's fresh, but I mean, for the sake of just running Grand Soil, it's kind of like. I mean, I could coop it in a Guardian Sphinx deck or something silly.
But see what you don't think about too, and I think this would be more along the lines of running something like an empty jar or something. You could run a mixture of monsters and have it not be a completely Earth-based deck. Yeah,
I'd need 5 though. I mean, like to have like exactly 5 Earth monsters though. It's kind of like I want to have a lot of them so I guarantee that I can actually play it. And then because his effect only matters when you summon it, it isn't even worth playing something like Phantom of Chaos on it though. We'll figure something out.
Figure something out. I think he'll grow in popularity. There was a lot of talk surrounding Grand Soil before he ever hit.
Well, there was.
We'll see.
And then he came out and nobody cared, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh yeah.
Didn't you have one more?
I was gonna talk about Gaia Drake. And he's basically that fusion monster that you special summon with Summoner of Illusions. And he has a 3,500 attack, and he can't be destroyed or targeted by the effects of effect monsters.
Looky there, Wild Ginzo appears. Or Ginzo,
What?
I should say.
A wild Ginzo.
Quick, throw out your Master Ball. Let's catch him.
Master Ball, catch him! I can add him to my team. Yeah, it's okay. My Jolteon can freeze him.
So, I mean, decks. Really?
Don't cut me off here, buddy. Come on. This is going to be a deck. This could be our segue. You know, the Gaia Drake deck? You know, with like you have like this and Summoner of Illusions and a lot of small monsters so you can actually play it.
Piper Chaos would be about the only deck that would allow you to run small monsters that's still competitive. Honestly, I think that would be the only way. It's a way to run Relinquish too. Might have to figure out a way to throw that into. Anyways, back on topic.
I was still on topic, buddy. I was gonna go and mention that Coins deck with the Assault Mode deck that he ran with Gaia Drake and Assault Beast and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, to kind of sort of interject myself in here real quick. If this is all pretty much for the night, for me, I gotta get in the shower and get to bed. I got class in the morning. I will see everyone later.
All right, later, Eddie.
all right, see
guys.
you, Eddie.
And unfortunately, Eddie has to pop out on us. But I mean, there's not really a whole lot to say as far as pure Beast Warrior decks. Like I said, pretty much pure Beast Warriors, Phantom Beasts, and coming soon, the Fire Fist monsters. Other than that, Beast Warriors were mainly made to support
Well, sure there is.
X.
There's one more you're forgetting about.
What's that?
Well, you're
Yep.
forgetting about Beast Machines, where you run Beast King Barbaros and then Beast King Barbaros Uar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy. He's like he's
more
30.
your skill drain. He's more along the lines of running a skill drain, or as Genzo pointed out when he did his review of Future Visions,
Exactly.
a good way.
Future
of
Visions.
out.
Yeah, Future Visions make that deck really good because you can run that alongside Gear Town, and then you set up your attack and then you play that, and if they normal summon a monster, it just goes away. And
I mean, that's kind of
it counts,
for the
right?
for the most part, Beast Warriors, they're mainly support. I mean, the meat and bones of it, your ones that are well known. I mean, there's not to say there's not great Beast Warrior monsters out there, but things that synergize together into a full and complete deck.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's going to be your Phantom Beasts, and it's going to be the coming Fire Fist monsters.
Yeah, but like Phantom Beasts have like 4 monsters, don't they? And the
Yeah.
only one that's good is like Pegasus, because there's like Pegasus, and then there's that one that's like Enraged Battle Ox, but has 0 defense, and then
It was a subpar deck.
is there a turtle or something in there too? Yeah, exactly. It has and there's one that's like 2200 attack, but it's a level 7, and then like you do something if you destroy a monster through battle. It came in like a special edition pack. You got like one of those and a mask card in it. That was a Phantom Beast too.
Yep. Well, I know
Yeah.
I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways.
Of course you will, buddy. Of course.
I guess kind of to round things out, definitely take a look down in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Discussion area. Genzo is starting to do Midnight TCGs, like Dueling Academy. He's going to start doing some learning articles, anywhere from beginners to people who are experienced, things that you can learn. Future Visions, I can't believe I never even thought of that, but he definitely thinks outside of the box. I give the guy props there. That was definitely an outside of the box play. I never even thought of running Barbaros in there and letting him go out and come back to the field at 3,000. So definitely take a look at these articles he's going to be bringing up. The Flash tournament, Fox was mean a couple weeks ago. I was pretty nice this last week. Can't tell you what twist it's going to be, but everybody's got a good idea of what the Flash tournament's going to be over. Be there on Thursday, usually between 7 and 9 p.m. because that's the Fox's best availability. Unfortunately, I think it's lost the luster of being a Flash tournament anytime. But you never know. I could be smart alecky one day and just pop it out of the blue. And last thing I want to cover before we go off of our podcast and this will go more into the gaming, and I'm sure as the guys do the gaming podcast, you'll hear about it. The White Rose come to us with a Calling for a Miracle charity event. It's a Minecraft event, so any of you Minecraft players out there, they're trying to do a charity fundraiser on the 22nd and 23rd. There's a topic about it on our front page and inside of our PC gaming area where you can get in on this. And they're trying to raise funds to give game systems to children's hospitals. So anybody who's stuck in the hospital over the holidays, give these kids something fun to do. So with that being said, unless Nomad has anything else he wants to add into it,
I have one thing. I have one thing there, boss.
Go ahead.
Everyone should watch. Everyone should be watching The Walking Dead. This is not a debate. This is like a necessity for your sanity.
A necessity for your sanity.
Exactly. Because when the world ends, it's going to be a zombie outbreak. And we need to be prepared. Fear the living. That's all I got, man. That's all I got.
All right. Well, I guess that kind of ends it. So we hope you tune in next week, where I think we're going to go over Beasts next week, just because we went over Beast Warriors and there are quite a few good beasts.
Oh yeah, just because you still want to bring up Bazoo the Soul Eater, don't you?